China Mall. We need to put an end to it. And now, now the reason why into China Mall we just told me a few minutes. It to me see a car skeleton aluminium kwansi want to say and it could be say the Chinese themselves decided to bend this down for insurance reasons. China Mall, no, it was a death trap. And I'm one person, I'm Makacha Ghana for say this China Mall. We need to put an end to it. I actually spoke about this intensively or extensively. But Ghana for no, it do sometime be a do foodie pe and I say a free a day. And na ye nipa bi a ye pa the fo inti ya bra but majority of us no ye ntumi nkoso. And what's the dia? Ye na ye ho kire Ghana pa na ye pa ade a efo. Me catch Ghana for a few weeks ago or roughly maybe a month or two ago say a market na Ghana no betumi jane na so a we need to make sure we curb down the spread of China malls. And we check here, they are putting the China malls next to our market centers. The busy market centers are Yene Ghana for no Eko Hokodija. Now, this accident, and I said this fire destruction ya yuhune wi ewa santimemu. I say China mall ejatom na senia ashono. I want us to go watch the video. We are na yedi inkomobi. This is the China mall na you see ejatom no. Now, near you know how it is as a China mall na Kumasi no ba kwashi. Now, so we share pictures. So now we share a year building now in less than I can say an hour. It to me see any building via the brick mortar building via safety. Are there a friend safety? Are there a friend what we call a year quality control and assurance? Ekomuna. What you are seeing there was already a death trap. Now the reason why into China mall we just told moi a few minutes. It to me see a car skeleton a aluminium kwansi want to say every single thing in that mall is synthetic. A debia ne ewo mall biano a highly flammable. A debia ode a ben a jar. It will not take more than 2 seconds. Ijabesuma ebeshi. Whatever you want to say, highly inflammable. Now, they see what China Mall Hona as a big facility say nka yeto blocks say lay foundation say you see say a structure that in the first place you ma building engineers ebe inspect ye quality assurance for be inspect ye how fire resistant it is, and I say how it can resist any kind of damage to say me just sure say this building will bend down to this level okono uhu say just aluminium frames in Kwanaka. Now the reason why I'm making this point and then I say there are two things here. It could be genuine. It could be say electrical problem. It could be say obinaye mistake in a jatoho, and it could be say the Chinese themselves decided to bend this down for insurance reasons. Me, kakrambe who are Chinese for no. They are good people to do business with, but you cannot underestimate any Chinese. And I'm one person, I'm so much into countries trading amongst each other. But what I don't like is countries taking advantage of other countries because of trade. And maybe because of their strength when it comes to economic strength when it comes to trade and business. Now, what I saw in this NNSA, first of all, that facility now we see as a China Mall, no, it was a death trap. So facility way, one day, I can assure you for a fact to say the building contractors, engineers, to go and check this structure and all the China malls in Ghana. you check structure ni here, none of them should exist in Ghana today. Say Ghana, yeah, di emraso. Send you to me go around ebubunko for dan go say we diner o see you know a dino non so the road shaha or sanko or making sure say the quality of cement, also making sure say this particular specs way has to and KDB China mall say what Ghana will see spread here. We will have to close all of them down. There are people who can testify. Say sa China malls no nemua e say wonam earthquake zone. Unimu say a dino air was so shaky. They know. I'm to Kumasi, I'm to crying, I'm to around the nation. Or China, you be China Mobiana room now nemua. You could see you are walking on plastic. You are seeing here, Siashino. Assassin, they did not buy it, they just leased it. And the idea in say they are just putting some structure on to make their money to take to China, and whatever happens next, they don't care. I am talking about Chinese who can come into your country and destroy your water just like that, and they don't care. Even when you are putting EMRA in place, cautioning your citizens, the Chinese are still in your forest. Some of them still don't even care about the laws now. With jail. So if the Chinese can enter your country, destroy your water, destroy your forest, and even at the point where you are telling them to stop going after them, they are still doing it. Building something like this with fake materials, it is high. And what we just saw here, we need to now go after the institutions that are supposed to make sure. I will not be surprised to say that thing they call China Mall, there's nothing like fire extinguisher. There's nothing like an exit point. There's nothing that will protect anybody if this facility or whatever they have built, calling it a mall, caves in. Nobody will survive tomorrow. I am telling you, you might not like me. Matina catch them so many times. The Chinese, almost to say when Jimmy they will take advantage of you. That is the Chinese. Almost Dawson. I'm just say Nigeria for. And you won't say you're Africa cry. People think say Nigerians they don't have compassion for people. Nigerians can do harm to their brothers. When the Nigerians come to your country, it is because there are many and they need to survive. And what you think that is dangerous, you don't want to get into, and Nigerian will get into it because they are looking at the risk, a 50-50 risk. They don't care to make sure they get something and lose a family member or a friend. They don't care. They are always trying to survive. And that is how the Chinese are. The Chinese are basically a quarter of the world's population, if I'm not wrong. So these people are not people that when you are dealing with them, you leave anything to go. You just make sure you do what? You cross your T's and dot your I's. And what I saw today, the Chinese just built a death trap. They themselves decided to light it up because they are beginning to see, say, their market is dropping. The level of purchase at Ghana for right now, they are beginning to know, say, the kind of things they sell, Ghanaians are beginning to know, say, they are not things that can last. So they are now seeing, say, maybe the amount of imports they are making losses. Don't underestimate the Chinese. I love them as humans. And we do business with them. They help Ghana, we help them sometimes. But we need to also always put our interests first. The same way the Chinese will put their interests first in any business they do with us. Because the Chinese will not allow a Ghanaian to come to China and do galamsey. If you are even a Ghanaian businessman and you want to build a factory in China, I am very sure they will not allow you to build such a structure in China for Chinese citizens to come in and shop. They will make sure the building you put together or whatever building you have your shop in is building that is strong enough to protect its citizens. What you just saw here is a death trap that got bent. And we need to hold our leaders accountable. I saw the KAMA boss hugging the lady, the Chinese owner. That's fine. But the question you need to be asking yourself is, how did this building, look at the things left behind, share the skeleton of the building. This is a death trap. And they have these things scattered around the nation. They don't care if a mall caves in today and 10,000 people die. They don't fucking care. It is your country, it is your government that is supposed to force them to do the right thing. If you sit there and they take advantage of you, at the end of that, so because said, I have a problem with white people because they enslaved our forefathers. I can never have a problem with the white man because when the white man came, you also had your land. You had every right to protect your land, not to allow them to lie to you. It is the same. If you allow yourself, the China protected. So what now deporting now or chrome and that place or clean water to drink or everything at their disposal. That is what I am talking about. This burning of the China Mall, we need a fire service to conduct investigations. We need a quality assurance to come in. The Ghana Engineers Architect Association, they need to go in there and conduct investigation. Why should such a thing be called a mall? Why should such a structure be allowed? People be allowed to enter it in thousands. Why should we allow this to happen in Ghana? Because yet Kroma and Amokacha say we are not supposed to build with inferior stuff. We are not supposed to do this. The reason why I do it in less than 2 hours is because every single thing in there is plastic. The reason why it's in the Ghana a jato daimwa within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, fire service didn't do it is because majority of our people are patronizing synthetic things from these China malls. Obako obi dem wardrobe it's made out of some synthetic material. A TV stand, synthetic material. Akonyo teso, synthetic material. Ube run a carpet, synthetic material. Every single thing in that room is synthetic. Sani pano, jaw to crack them and the whole building will go down in 10 seconds. First, no na a dying shit. A jet to be to obi Oba corona in Konya, a bit of who a just should be. Emma, you can see, say, the wood is still alive. Like you could see, say, in Riani Biwoho. A jet to be shit dying, Uber run out wardrobes to be half a shit. It takes time for buildings to burn. But then it takes less than an hour. Now a whole building is supposed to be sold. I wish Mr. P, Mr. S, can you get me when it was actually burning? Time and no. Video you saw the rate at which it was burning. Mr. P, get me the video of there are other videos out there. Who see be a say was some more we more to say every 2 seconds be obi the petrol gum. It is because a dear be a womubiano are not things that are supposed to be sold in homes. Let's get serious. Your market and I keep hearing this government. Recently, I heard the government saying that they are going to build an ultra-modern market at Aflao. It's cheap and inferior. And as a nation, if we allow that to happen, our markets, say, protecting the Juma, but we're jiminti on tiasie. We jiminti onim nyansa onim dia mekano. Majority of nipa na omoko kejetia market and there's what to bear 40%. Why? Because they are going for inferior stuff. They are going for cheap stuff. They are going to the China malls because you allow the Chinese to bring in inferior stuff. The funny thing is, Obibaga say, oh, but such China mall no omu create juma. Let me tell you one thing. When you go to these China malls, Ghana for more China malls holding yinano. Obieniwa or you're part of management. They are many position park with your supervisor. None of them get close to real company document or anything. Omo never employ any Ghanaian.
Show boy and the children as one and as a now, so Obekaya, a year, and Donald Trump, a year America president, Mampeni, I just said Obetenaso. Now, Obano, Obe deporting some African phobia, deporting clophobia, a Mampeni, Mahama, a Babachidum said, or no so, why didn't Clophony be our Ghana, Copim said, Omutimi, Edomuko, Omukrum, Baku. Now, I know, I'm not just said, Chinudin so. Emaba chena adwia wo kire mu se ade mahama eye no na enye adentia o se enkrofo na Donald Trump deporti wo mo no e bi akonfo prisoners wom awidifo wom kese obobo nkrofo ko bi a kese e deporti no kire America ho no se bi se unya de bone na se undi ewu undi bone bi nkobo kronu bi a ye deporti wo na eno ana kire se okobo eye show boy edi guma kire se